feel we can give every child in whole of Ireland and beyond the best possible chance of continuing life through Gaelic games. So initially, one of the key areas of the booklets will be an area for, I suppose, a scrapbook, looking at key memories. I always think back to the baby books that I held for my own two sons, and flicking back on them, just it always put a smile on your face, and it's always something that'll sit well with us in future. And I think these key areas, although you might save them on your phone and look back on, I think it'd be nice just to have them all in the one spot. So scattered throughout the booklets, you'll almost be documenting your child's journey as they progress through, as I say, the different stages in their learning. So everything there from first sessions to team photos. I'm sure there'll be a few laughs in a few years' time to look back at how certain players have changed, shall we say, in further years. At the core of everything we do is creating as many quality learning experiences as possible for the children. And I know you slip a tongue there and say pupils, and that's a teacher head coming out. And basically we wanted to get creative with that. Things like you see here that come in handy just seem to go hand in hand, excuse the pun, with getting players to think about what hand goes to the top of the hurling stick, and for a parent to be able to share that with them, as opposed to a coach constantly have to ensure that they have a hand or constantly remind them. If it's on a gentler way, such as this, where say that they're colouring in the wee hand that they're using, I mean that hand in essence is holding the actual pen. You know, you'll hear most coaches use your writing hand at the top, saying, and getting a friend or a parent then to trace around their hand and making a wee handprint. So again, as opposed to keeping these learning experiences strictly to the club, trying to bring it to the home life as much as possible as well. Again, drawing on the child's, and again, I'm using my own lads' hobbies and I suppose interests to drive it forward also. I know superheroes is massive, and you know it struck out straight away that a number of the traits that you would associate with a superhero are also so apparent with a player. And I think if a young child or a young player feels super from the day go, it's a powerful message to have. Two lads again, if anyone on the call knows them, will know that they're keen ninjas, and you need to watch out anytime they're in your company. The youngest actually, and I think his nursery teacher is actually on the call, demanded to be called his ninja name when he started nursery there a few weeks back. So anywhere we can tie in their interests or look at things in a different way, so that children and players are not just thinking about Gaelic football and hurling and camogie when they're at the club or when they're involved in their practice session. To me, that's massive. That's huge. Trying to get creative, trying to think that wee bit out of the box. Again, I suppose one of our biggest challenges is trying to draw kids away from the tablets and the virtual worlds that's out there. So I've tried to draw on that a bit as their experience, to look at the energy level, I suppose, that a player has, and highlight again more energy for a player. So I suppose it's just to give you a taster of a number of the activities that will be throughout the booklets, trying to hone in on children's interests around the particular age groups, and also how we can tailor that to suit our own needs and Gaelic game settings. Just moving on then, in case anyone thought, and when hopefully a number of you receive your booklets, that the super skills sections were a mixed bag. They all have a purpose. At the right here, and you don't need to look at it in great detail. I'll have all these pathway grids available on the web page. At each level, an entry point, basically, I've put in a series of, I suppose, pathway pointers and statements as tips. Not that one shoe fits all, but basically areas where a child around this age group could be working on. Again, the teaching hat's on me, and I know in school that parents are very interested and take a lot away from our curriculum meetings at the beginning of the year. I doubt there's many clubs out there that actually share the content or what they'll be working on with their particular age groups within a certain year, and this is an ideal way to do so. I also find it useful in that sometimes you've maybe a coach who's been involved in maybe a senior group for a number of years, and all of a sudden their son or grandson's involved with an underage team, and the poor children are getting getting a tough time of it because they can't score from the 21-yard line, or they're not making a perfect hand at all at the age of 4 or 5. So if again this helps alleviate some of the pressure, or take some of the burden off some of the children there at home and in the club, then it's job well done for this section. And again, using superheroes there too, but we'll hope to make it a bit more child-friendly and clear. Creativity for me is huge, and this is where I feel we can get really interactive. Within the booklets, children have options to not only follow or try out a number of games that we've produced and put together, but also to create their own. And have them met my own children, have them wee stars in a number of these. As you can see, and I'll read it out myself as I know it may be tough. Simply using the likes of 2 balls, 2 balloons, 2 hoops, bubble mix, general things that would be in most homes, and if not, you get them in B&M Margins, or your pound word for a couple of pound. As opposed to you instructing a child to do a certain session or to take a certain session, ask them, look, could you think of a hand passing game? Could you think of a kicking game? What I need you to use for talk's sake, the bubble mix, 2 balls and 3 people. Even at the most basic of instructions there, for talk's sake, with my 2 young lads, a 3-year-old and 5-year-old, I gave them a ball, and that was all, just a ball and 2 of them. And I said, lads, can you work on it? Can you create a throwing game for me? And the first thing obviously that comes to mind is the 3-year-old throwing the ball to the 5-year-old, or vice versa. Within 10 minutes, they'd created about 8 games. Everything from, right, can you throw it with one hand? I throw it off the wall? Can you try and catch it? I'm going to throw it between my legs. I'm going to turn around and throw it behind my head. And it would amaze you how many games that the kids can come up with, and more importantly, how excited they are to share those games with you. I'm very fortunate that a few friends of mine on a Friday, all socially distanced and within our own bubbles. Now, I must say, we'd hand out a range of equipment. Their own kids, they're all in around the same ages there, and the ages we're talking about. And I'd say the most they're excited in the session is to show us games that they've been working on during the week and wanting to share those with us. So when I see what excitement that sort of creates in those, how powerful will that be for a child to begin their practice session by not just assuming themselves in a role where the coach coaches and I sit and I listen, especially a 4 and 5-year-old when it's near impossible, where a child's actually bursting to get to your practice session to show you and their fellow teammates something that they've developed. I mean, I just think the creativity with that is stark. And if you ever want a starting point for your tactics later down the lane, as opposed to a player who's been instructed the whole way through and is waiting on a coach, maybe at 17, 18, telling them, right, I have to kick now, I have to kick the ball that X, Y, and Z. The players all of a sudden have been used to being given tools, and it's up to them to then use them as they see fit. So I just think it's a really powerful area. And we would hope here to have players and their parents, of course, to maybe video and capture some of these games, and as opposed to sharing them just for their own clubs, that they could share them with fellow Gaels all over the country. And for me, the biggest learning and I suppose the biggest turning point for our own team was when we went to the All-Ireland Míle, and when our lads got to rub shoulders with players from all over the country, it really opened their eyes up that GAA wasn't just about their club or about our area or about Belfast. And I mean, the boost that gave them, if through these resources, a child in West Belfast, for talk's sake, could be comparing their game to a child in Kerry or in Dublin, and clubs that they're watching on TV, what that would do for their confidence to say, God, look at my game, Mummy, I think my game's every bit as good as Tag there and Kilmacud Crokes. You know, look at the game I made, look at that jumping game I did. Jeez, can you believe that there? Look, Dr. Crokes down in Kerry there, their game wasn't half as good as this, so it wasn't, Mummy. And I think that there for kids to put themselves out there and to be excited and celebrate what they're creating is so powerful. Moving on then, feelings is something that I'm absolutely huge on. This to me is one of the most powerful parts of our booklets and our resources. I'm very, very fortunate, and there's never a day there I don't count myself lucky for my family and friends and the unbelievable support network that I have. But I think most of you agree, not every child has an opportunity to discuss their feelings. Not every child was as fortunate as me own, and as I was myself, to be asked every day after school, well, how'd your day go? What did you learn today? And what are you looking forward to tomorrow? And same, last thing in bed, well, what do you want to do at the weekend? What was your favourite thing today? I think it's about time that we create as much opportunities as possible for children and their parents that get more interactive, and that doesn't go for anyone. And I'm not criticising in any way here, but I certainly feel as a society that we don't talk as much, and maybe it's an Irish thing too. Although we're getting better, that feelings were something that happened and you're expected to get on with and deal with. I think the world has got to that point now where we really need to be looking at things differently. And through the booklets, I feel this is powerful and something I'm really huge on. There's a series of and basically at the most basic level sheets at the back of the booklets where a parent would basically ask their son or daughter, say here, just talk to your parent about who you had fun playing with, your favourite things about the practice session, and what you would love to do next. And straight away, just having that conversation with your child shows them that you're interested in their Gaelic games journey, helping them stay involved, but also the interest you have in them as a person, which is absolutely massive. Also, and I suppose again, maybe this is your teaching head and your school reports at the end of the year, looking at areas where the child can really express themselves and show you what they loved about the club, what they're enjoying, what was okay, and again, what could have been better. And once I've coloured these different sections in here, again, my favourite thing of the year was maybe next year, a parent could take a picture of that and share it with a coach, and that coach knows straight away. I mean, for me as a coach, to receive quality information like that would be huge. A player may feel comfortable enough maybe to share that with a coach, but they would with their parent, and vice versa. Maybe they feel more comfortable sharing it with a coach. But the value you would get in that, where maybe you felt that a player was having the greatest fun at the time of their life, but you're actually seeing there, once I've caught a few wee sections in, I see, you know what, I'll need to have to keep a wee eye out there, you know, maybe to make a new friend section, or that player that looked like they were really happy, but maybe we need to encourage them to make a few new friends there, or help them that way. Again, things stay and things change. It is vital. I think ourselves as adults would agree. There's so much stress and anxiety that comes with change. Even the simplest of things, from changing an office. For me, changing from one class 1 year to the next year, you're still in the same environment. We as adults find change so stressful and an anxious time. How many times have we actually discussed that with children and asked them to think about how they feel about moving up an age group when maybe half their friends have moved up? Maybe they've got a brand new coach where they're really attached to the coach previously. And this booklet, as I say, is really giving the child a voice, giving them that platform to show us how to feel. And the same just with match day feelings as well. If from day one we can start supporting our players, and I don't know how many people have actually asked their players, how did you feel I behaved during a game as a parent? How did you feel I behaved in a game as a coach? Because I know that I wouldn't have been happy with a lot of answers I would have heard retrospectively there. And I think that's important too, that we learn from our children and from our players more so than what they're going to learn from us from this, and putting the power in those hands, because for me that's the way forward. And then for me, I suppose the strongest and most powerful thing of the GAA is making and strengthening relationships. I mean, for me, I know I wouldn't be the person I am today without the GAA on what it's done for me. And getting players to think from day on, what is a good mate? What is a good teammate? You know, when you think of a good teammate, what do you think of? And getting them to think about their own wee personality and their own traits. Having parents and coaches write down personal messages, get personal with them, show them that you care, show them that they haven't just been another number showing up to their practice sessions week in, week out. Have a few personal wee words written at the end of their booklet every season. And then encouraging new members. The more friends I feel that a player has in their own club, the more chance they have of continuing. I mean, it's no coincidence that when you look at the likes of your Slot Meals and your Kilcoos, these boys are living out of each, and girls are living out of each other's pockets. They know each other, they've grown up with each other, they care deeply about one another, and the more of a community and social bond that we can create between our players and our coaches and our parents within the club, I feel is stronger that you'll be in your own clubs and my own club. And then again, taking those friendships outside of the club. So you may have met a new friend in the club, hi then, and that's where the bingo buddies comes in. What could you then do to further that relationship? Because the stronger your relationships are with your fellow teammates, as I say, certainly the more likelihood it is that you'll stay involved with that club. So the website, Cards, as I say, is still a work in progress. Hopefully it worked for most of you this evening, and fingers crossed it will be 100% ready to go live tomorrow. I know that it was on the verge of going live over the past hour or two, so a few of you may have got a wee snippet of it. If you didn't, hopefully it'll be ready come tomorrow. And it basically gives us a platform there just to showcase what's best about our booklets and our resources, and also give you a platform to place orders with your clubs. So the question, I suppose, that I've received more so than any others has been in and around ordering, and for me it's probably the most sensitive of subjects too, because I hate talking money, because it's sort of goes against a lot of what I'm doing here. But at the end of the day, it's the only way we're going to get it out there to people. I've spoken to a number of people during this. I've had to put a business plan together. Obviously had to build a website and that there. And most people from a business background are all about profit. I'm not at all. I wanted to create the cheapest possible booklets to suit the most parents as possible. I asked maybe 20 different people from different sources, different backgrounds, different family circumstances, and I only cared about the answer that one person gave me, and that was a mother with 4 children, all in and around the same age group with a one club. And when I mentioned this price to her, that was the price it was always going to be, no matter what anyone else told me. So I hope it's priced at a level that is affordable to as many people in your club as possible, and that's why the booklets will cost £9, maybe £9. Now, this is where it gets maybe a wee bit complex. Because they're bespoke booklets, and because they're so personalised with the club jerseys, the club badges, on the cover or throughout the booklet. Obviously, there's graphics work going alongside that there, which is going to incur different costs. So the way I've tried to work it is that if a team is buying a set of booklets for the entire squad, that hopefully through that it's going to be affordable for you to get at least your front cover totally personalised. So for 50 booklets, for talk's sake, 10% will come off this price. It would be £450. So the £50 that you're saving will actually get you, as you see in the add-ons here, your club jersey colours printed on the cover. So for talk's sake, Clonot won our competition last week. You may have seen the image that I posted on Twitter. Clonot will be receiving a booklet there with a Clonot badge on top, and then the boys jersey and the girls jersey on the front cover too. If a club is looking the club jerseys throughout the booklet, so with a total of 10 to 12 cartoons throughout the booklet, so it'll be a generic mix of jerseys throughout, so just random colours, not specific to any one team. If you're looking your club jersey throughout, again, the cost of the graphic work there is £150. Their sales are to pass that work on for the detail that's required. If your club, for talk's sake, was ordering 100 booklets, and that can be 100 booklets, it could be, for talk's sake, 25 hurling, 25 football at the nursery group, and again 25 football and hurling camogie at the under 7 age group. It can be mixed and matched. With that 15% saving, so £100 or £1,000 with 15% saving, I tried to work out that would cover the add-on costs. But again, just to give clubs that option, if they were ordering less, to do so these options. So I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, look, I'll be chatting to everybody anyway at some point to make the ordering process as personal as possible. And then I suppose looking at the future, chairde, where we see our booklets and our project going is that we would love our booklets on the lower line of a jump at tree on the Gaelic. Obviously, it's the language is close to my heart, and I'm hoping come summertime, I'll be back at class next Monday, so things will really slow down. I'm going to try and process as many orders over the coming days, and then it really will be when the two boys go to bed at night, that'll be working through things until the summer. I can then focus on the booklets for all age groups. And really, we're looking towards a Christmas order to have things 100% in place. There'll be more booklets on offer there. The Irish medium sections also. Just like the club gear order night, we could produce a PDF document of examples of the booklets, and clubs could then create and order them. Other options then for ordering, some clubs have spoken about getting a sponsor on board, and we can certainly put the sponsor's logo anywhere on the booklet if that helps you create or generate some funds. Other clubs have been talking about their own registration nights, so when they're charging their membership rates, that maybe they're increasing that for a juvenile by £5–10 to subsidise the price or cover the price of the booklets. And then, as I said, that the Christmas order has also been something that the clubs have mentioned also there, whereby they'll wait until such period where we'll have an entire club order, and all parents will be coming together, I suppose, under the order, the process. And I suppose we're hoping it takes off. I showed you the Twitter page there, and I gave you a wee taster of kids and children leading from the front, showing us what they can do as opposed to coaches constantly dictating and showing them the way. We want to guide them, but we don't want to direct them. And I'd love to be able to celebrate their interest in Gaelic games and what they're doing in their own homes and their local play parks. To celebrate a love of Gaelic games throughout Ireland and beyond, and giving every child an opportunity to show their own creativity and share their own creativity. I just think that's so powerful. And to do so and to encourage them, we'll be running competitions in the near future. We would love to create a bespoke booklet for one boy and one girl every month, and that bespoke booklet would actually have a cartoon of themselves on the front with their name, their club badge and their club jersey, just as a wee keepsake to say, look, congratulations you for putting your wee heart and soul into your own wee games that you've created. And hopefully games just another wee thing that keeps Gaelic games in their mind and gives them the best possible chance to move along through the ranks of the club and staying involved in the club for as long as possible. Lastly, just to finish up, I'd just like to thank, I suppose I'd be here all night if it was to thank everyone, but to thank more so than anyone else, everyone who supported me along the way with this project, no more so than the lads I've coached over the best part of maybe 10 years now. Some of you may have read the article that Niall McCoy wrote in the Gaelic Life, but for me, the lads we've worked with over the past up to 10 years anyway are the reason that this resource was brought to life. It was only then, speaking to the boys about things that went a lot deeper than Gaelic football or hurling, that I got a sense for the power that being involved with a Gaelic club can have in a young person's life, especially through, I suppose, the most turbulent of times in your teenage years. We lads in our squad who fortunately buried some of their friends, with lads in our own squad there, just like every other squad I'm sure, who went through periods of crisis, who were struggling in terms of their own emotional well-being, and they felt comfortable enough reaching out to ourselves as coaches, to their teammates and the others in the club. And for me, if we as a society can use Gaelic games to show kids, and that's where the saying I care comes in, if we can show as many people that we care about them, and by God, our organisation isn't one of, it's the most powerful organisation out there, because I've seen it firsthand, the difference that can have. And again, to jump back to Niall's article, the amount of occasions that our lads were walking past groups of friends who were involved in maybe some other activities, saying hello and giving their thanks and their greetings, but turning right into our club as opposed to turning left and staying in the street corner, because they believed in us, they believed in what they were doing, and they felt that we cared, they felt that their teammates cared. And when you care, they care. And that's why they're involved in the club to the extent they are. That's why they still care about the club in these tougher years, these more challenging years at 17, 18. And honestly, Cards, if you take nothing else away from this evening's and even forgetting about the booklets, as much as I hope the booklets help as many people as possible show our young people that we care and that they're valued, because there's no worse feeling out there in this whole world than the feel you're not valued or that no one cares about you. I want all our young people, all our young Gaels, for the entirety of their lives, to know and feel how much everyone cares about them. And I can think of no more powerful set than the Gaelic club. And just to suppose, touching that a wee bit, even for myself, to see the power of Gaels all over the country tonight. I mean, for 20 counties to be represented, when just over a week and a half ago, we weren't even on social media. This was very much a brand new project. People like Conor Laverty from down, stopping his lambing season to pick up the phone to see how he can help me out. I've Mick Bowen, Dublin Senior Ladies Manager, putting back certain meetings just to be here tonight. Val Andrews looking for help setting up his Microsoft Teams for the first time. These are all people who owe me absolutely nothing. These are people who I've looked up to, and that's just a few names there. I mean, I could sit here all night speaking about even, with Mark there from the GEA Journal, and any other business there, you would look at someone as a rival. Gaels all come together. Mark was ringing me up saying, "How can I help you out?" And to me, that's what's massive about the GEA. Everyone's looking to share and help one another. As much as, geez, we'll cross that white line, we'll go hammer and tong on it for 60 minutes. Gaels will always look out for one another. And let's please all ensure that our children and our most important people feel that from day one. So it's Michael Jared Doherty.